Welcome to Horsefly Chronicles Radio with Julia and Philip Siracusa. Sponsored by Carnation. Airing live on United Public Radio Network on 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. This show's opening has been produced, edited, narrated by Gwen Luckett at gluckett.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Monday night's segment of Horsefly Chronicles Radio with myself, Julia Siracusa, and Phil Siracusa. We're broadcasting live from the United Paranormal Radio Network on 105.3 FM and 107.7 FM from New Orleans. We are also live on Roku, so you can watch us there, streaming from your TV. We're fully sponsored by Carnation, so we want to thank them for their sponsorship. You have to do a few things in order to participate in chat. Go to YouTube, UFO Gods Paranormal Radio. You can also go into all of our Facebook stations, UFO Paranormal Radio Network, UFO Undercover with Joe Montaldo, News on the Flip Side, Twitch, a SoundCloud, Podbean, and of course our group, Horsefly Chronicles Radio. And if you have any questions for our guests, please ask. So tonight, guys, we have another amazing guest. So please welcome Kayla Perkins to the show. She is an actress and a model, and at age 12, she got to be a part of The Simple Life with Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie. She fell in love with it right there and then. She landed feature roles on TV and film, winning multiple awards in her work. She's a model and also does a lot of volunteer and charity work. She's also the author of a children's book that is dedicated to her son who has JIA, and it's called I'm Caden and I Have JIA. So please, let's welcome her to the show.
Welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. So glad to
Hi.
have you join
I'm excited.
us. Yes, we have a lot to talk about. Usually we just kind of like go right from the beginning. Like, how did you start? Like, what really drove you into the whole acting world?
So, when I was really little, I did pageants and it was super fun, getting to feel like a princess. And so they were hiring and looking for girls for The Simple Life with Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie. And it was called Pageant Camp. And so my mom submitted me and they, were like, "You probably won't get it. We want girls out in LA just because, they don't want to pay for flights and stuff like that when they can get people out there." So the lady was like, "You can do an interview on the phone through video and talk at the same time." She was like, "And do an interview for us." So I put on my big ball gown dress. I had a teacup chihuahua. His name was Prince. And I had him like right beside me. And he ends up in the interview biting me like to death. And I was like, oh. So but she sent it to the producers and they absolutely loved me, had to have me on it. So we flew out there and it was one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had. And so in the interview, they asked me, they were like, "Is there anything that, as far as pageants, that we could help you work on?" And where I was 12 years old, I was like, my one thing that I really need help on is interview. And so I went out there thinking they're going to help me with interview. And, each girl had the same question. So as soon as we got out there, we immediately had to do like a practice to show of like our beauty, swimwear, and any talent we had right in front of everyone. And so this whole time I'm thinking, I'm going to get help with interview. But so we had to do tea parties. My mom had to stand on the opposite end of a field and have like a huge giant bird fly from her arm to mine. We toilet papered houses. dresses. I mean, it was so much fun. And
Mhm.
so at the end of it, they were like, we're going to have the moms do the pageant. And they called it Hot Moms USA. And my mom was like, "Oh, no." She's like, "I'm not doing this. Like, I don't wanna be in a pageant." She was like, "I only came out here, to help you." And so I begged her. I was like, "This might be my only opportunity to ever do something like this." I was like, "Please just do it." And so she ends up getting up there and looking at the judge, and she's, like, licking her lips. And I'm like it was hilarious, but, so yeah, but at the very end, Paris had stayed and gave us a really big gift basket of everything she's ever designed, and it was all autographed, and it was so much fun, and I'm truly blessed that I had the opportunity to do it. And so from everything that I saw there, I was like, I really wanna do this. And so I came back to Kentucky, of course, and I got my foot in the door with a bunch of independent stuff here in Kentucky, and that's when I got into Telephone and Santa Claus versus the Zombies. And I was just like, it's truly so much fun, and it's just crazy how, you get to portray a different character, and, you really get to live in that moment. And so that's what really drew me into acting.
Wow. I mean, I have to say, I have to say that I used to watch that show
What
constantly.
year is that show?
I was a big fan. It was I think it was like in the 90s, I'm gonna say, right? What year did
I think
The Simple Life come out?
I'm honestly not sure, but it was in the 2000s.
Oh,
I
okay.
wanna say
I
it
don't
was,
know
like,
why I even
around
said that. I was way off. Yes, yeah. Yeah. I forgot. Why I said that.
Julie, we used to watch that show, right?
Yes, yes.
Way
Even
back. That's back a long time ago.
to be honest, and I was saying this before, that I think that was like really the one of the first or the first reality show ever. And I remember Paris saying that in an interview once, that she was saying that, they kind of like created that whole vibe for, the whole world of reality shows.
Yeah, that was a good show. Wow, that's great. Having to do that at such a young age, that makes you feel awesome, right?
Oh, yes, yes. It Now that I look back, I'm like, "Oh my god, I cannot believe I was like, I got to do that." And so I just it's crazy, but I'm super thankful because it taught me a lot, even though I was at a young age, it taught me a lot now, as far as film and stuff like that, to kinda know, from having the
Yeah,
years of learning it to help me move forward now.
yeah. It gave you that push. And
Yes.
then how did you get where you are today? I mean, you have many, many awards. Tell us about
Yeah.
some of these awards that you have.
So I did a project, it's called A Promise to Alexis, and I absolutely love it. I am super big on mental health. I
Mhm.
think, we all in life struggle with something as far as mental health. And so to me, that is a very big thing. And I always felt like in life, if I could help one person in the world, like that's what I think life truly means in the world. And so I got asked to do it by a really great friend, and it's about suicide awareness. And so it got so many awards. I'm super excited. And I'm so glad that so many people across the world have seen it because that is a really big issue, especially right now in the world.
I
So
agree. Mhm.
yes, yes, which life is hard enough. But so I
Yeah.
got to do that. And then I got to do Surviving Tragedy, which is also about a really great friend that ended up in a car accident, and we ended up losing her. So that project was about that. And it's actually gotten a couple awards as well. But yeah, it's a really great feeling because every time I post it and share about the awards, I'm like, tons of people feel alone, but I'm like, it's never too late to ask for help or, just talk to somebody if something's wrong. And
Yeah.
so it really does mean a lot to me that it's won so many awards. And every time he texts me about it winning an award, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, I couldn't have done it without you. I'm like,
Oh,
because it's a team effort.
yeah.
Um,
It is.
so it just
Yeah.
means a lot. So yeah.
Oh, that's so nice. And tell everybody, where can they see these two movies?
So it's actually on YouTube,
Okay.
and I have shared it also on my Facebook for anybody that's not friends or wants to add me on Facebook. It's also on
Okay.
Facebook for people to view it.
Okay, great. I mean, I have a question too. This is kind of like we're gonna twist it a little bit towards the paranormal. If Have you ever did a film, like work on any type of project, and kind of felt uneasy on the set? Any Anything like that ever happen? Like you just weren't
Um,
comfortable, something was off. Maybe it was the location.
so I did a film one time, and it was called Halloween Homecoming. And so it sounds weird, but so I get home and something just felt really off. And I'm one of those people like I want to know why. so
Mhm.
so I get home and for whatever reason, I just start taking photos like right in front of me everywhere. And there's like red and blue lines like all over the place. And I was just like, this is freaky. But so it was so crazy because I ended up doing a convention called Scarefest. And like months
Oh,
before this, I had a guy come up to me and he's like, I just want to tell you, he was like, you're going to receive a check in the mail. He was like, it's so much money. He was like, but don't cash it because it's fake. So sure enough, I ended up getting the check in the mail. So I
oh,
was like, oh my gosh. And so I called this guy and I was like, I was like, can you come to my house? And so he comes over. He's like, the school that they had filmed that film at, which isn't far from where I live. He's like, this little girl, he was like, had her hair pulled through a machine. He was like, she ended up
oh,
dying in that school. He was like, and you have the energy. He was like, on you. He was like, I need to help you. So I was like, okay, okay. So we sit down, he's helping me. He starts telling me about things that like only I knew. It
yeah.
was about health stuff. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, this is crazy.
Mhm.
But it was just wild. It was a wild experience. But I've actually done paranormal stuff. I think it is very interesting. And
Mhm.
when I was really little, we lived in this house. It was 2 bedrooms, and it was one story. And it was just very weird because certain lights would come on and off. And, one time I was like really sick. And so my mom, they were eating, and you could see, the hallway where my bedroom was. And so they were eating, and the light just comes on. So she's like, Kayla must be up. So she goes in there, and I'm like sound asleep, like never got up. I was so sick.
Oh my goodness.
And so it was just very freaky, but there was definitely something going on in the house. And I don't know if I had it on the fridge, but I have this photo when I was really little, and I had like a little, tutu on, being a little girl and dancing and all that. And so literally right behind me is like it looks like this. And it looks like there's an outline of like somebody's arm around me. And so they said on that land that it was like farmers' land where farmers had died. And I just thought it was wild.
Wow. I mean, that's
That's interesting. I cannot tell you how many times I see that on YouTube flashes and TikTok flashes of people doing film sets, and there's something that should not be there, or somebody in the background that doesn't even exist. Um,
Mhm.
it's amazing to me that
Oh, yeah.
they capture that, and that goes to show you residual energy. Farm and people die on the land, and it's crazy, but it's true. Um, that always, right, Joe? Like
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
pictures, and then you have somebody in the background.
Yeah. and I always like to ask actresses and actors that come on the show this question because there's just been so many stories. And what about the Wizard of Oz? Do you remember that story? There was a story about the Wizard of Oz.
Someone hung themselves on the
Yes,
set.
and I think it was caught in that movie, from my knowledge.
Yeah, you can see
Oh, wow.
something. They show you where it is. You could very lightly see it. That's true. And there was a lot of things actually with The Wizard of Oz we see it as a movie that was incredible. It's an awesome movie, hands down. But there was a lot behind that movie too. A lot of mischievous things and stuff to that nature. Even the witch, she was creepy and scary. As creepy and scary as she got burnt on the first reel. They were filming by the something they ignited on that set. So you have a lot of movies you've done. I see you have all these different things. What do you like to do the best in acting?
So I grew up doing horror, and I still love it. Like, I love when you can do a film and be so scared that I had to do The Art of Killing, and it was so much fun, and it was last year. And I had to be so scared that somebody was coming near me, and I knew who it was, but I was able to, with acting, um, scare myself into believing that that person was really going to hurt me. And so to me, I think it's so much fun. And but as I've gotten older, my dream has always been to be in Lifetime. And so I want to do a love movie, and I think it would be so much fun.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, that'd be awesome for you.
I think you'd be great
Yes.
at that.
You know us women, we always love a romance.
Not for nothing. It's not just the women, because Phil loves his Lifetime movies too.
Lifetime's the best. I'm sorry, but they got such great stories. And if I watch the movie, I'm like, this really happened? And Julie's like, yeah, it really happened. It's based on a true story. Yeah, Lifetime is good stuff. In fact, Julie, after the show tonight, I want to watch Lifetime.
I knew you were going to say that.
Oh, I love the ones that are the crazy ex ends up being the killer, gets, stalking, and I'm like, because that is real life.
It is. It is. And so many of them are, like he said, based on true stories. It kind of it draws you in. We can watch that. We can watch Lifetime all day. We have someone in chat. Hi, big singer from, wait, what? I don't know who that is. I can't even see what he's saying, so we'll skip that. So what other movies? Tell us, has anything that you worked on that you maybe didn't like, or that you didn't enjoy, or was it you just love everything that you've done?
I think I've loved everything I've done. I'm certainly, I don't want to say picky, but I am picky about what I do and how it represents me. And, if the project's good and the people are great and stuff like that. But for the most part, I think I've loved everything I've ever done. And it's taught me so much in life, every single project, because most projects to me have helped me to become a better actress. Just because, from one project to the next, you learn either certain things that should be done or certain things, that'll help you with your next role to learn, I don't need to do that again, especially with emotions and trying to bring out your character and things like that. So I would say, I loved all of them.
You should do a reality show.
It's so funny you say that, because every single person that meets me and my mom and my family, they're like, man, you need a show in that house because it would be number one.
Hey, you know what? You never know, because you could start out just by doing videos on TikTok of your house and you and your daily life, and bring people through your whole life scene that you're going through. And yeah, I could see you. I look at a lot of your stuff like Instagram and Facebook, and you got TikTok, awesome stuff you have out there, a lot of followers. And I think that you got it. You got what it takes to do a reality show.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. I definitely love TikTok. I think it is so fun. I
It
tried to
is.
get my little boy to get in some of them, and he's just like,
Yeah.
no. But there's so many fun ones.
And you can you can learn a lot from TikTok. I mean,
I
it's
did.
sad.
Jill, I learned a lot from TikTok.
No, you
I
did.
learned how not
We
to
know
cook,
that.
how not to clean. I mean, I learned a lot, how to stay home and do nothing. TikTok has a lot of great stuff on it.
I mean,
I love my TikTok.
we
I'm
know,
gonna
Phil.
people, they keep talking about taking it away. I hope they don't take it away from us. Then I'm not going to learn anything.
I
Let's
mean,
get into horror movies, okay?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I love, and Julia loves horror movies. One of our favorites, of course, is Amityville, the first two, the Annabelle doll, creepy. What is a horror movie that you love that you can feel those tense, scary moments?
So it's so funny. I tell so many people this, but I'm like, I do horror, but I was like, when I'm at home by myself, I cannot
Mhm.
watch it. I'm such a baby. And so the whole time I watch something scary, I'm like this, trying to peek. But I would probably say, well, a good one that just came out was Megan.
Oh,
Like,
And
we saw that.
yes, yes,
Absolutely.
and it wasn't that scary, but there was certain moments that I was just like, I don't know." But,
That
but
was a
a
good
good
movie.
one it really was, and they did such a great job with
yeah.
all the effects and everything, but I
Yeah.
guess a good one I would say from maybe a long time ago was, I don't know if you guys have seen Prom Night.
Prom
That was
night.
really
Prom
crazy.
night. Yes.
I think the first one was like the 80s. The
Yeah.
Mhm.
first prom night came out in the 80s.
And
Yeah.
I saw every single remake of that. Sorry, I am. I'm a remake person. And a lot of people don't like them, but I do.
Oh, yes, yes.
Well, you know, I
There's
heard
so
them
many
making a
good ones.
Christine too, actually. Christine, the movie with the car,
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
the car that comes alive. They're making a part two.
They are?
So nice.
Wow.
Yeah,
I think I saw that.
yeah.
Because here at Scarefest, it's a convention of horror and paranormal,
Yeah.
which I absolutely love, but they have the car there. I actually took pictures with it
Really?
last year.
Wow. And where was that? Where was that located?
It's in Lexington, Kentucky.
Okay.
Yes. If you guys ever come down here, you definitely have to come to it because it is so big, but it has tons of paranormal horror stuff you
Yeah, I
can
love
buy.
it. Yeah, I
Kentucky. How far is Kentucky from Pennsylvania?
oh God, Phil. Start walking.
Um, I'm honestly not sure. I
It's
want to
pretty
say it's
far.
over 6 hours.
That doesn't even sound that far. That
6 hours? No. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not as far as we think. I mean, yeah, I go around the block. I think that's far. So
yeah, I was just gonna say that. You think everything's really, really, really far. I want so you just came out with a book, right? Am I correct?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Can you
awesome.
tell us a little bit about this book? Because I know this book really means a lot to you.
Oh yes, it makes me emotional. Uh,
It's
but
okay.
I have been working on this book for probably a year, and I wanted to come out with it because my son at 3 years old was diagnosed with JIA, which a long time ago used to be juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. And the only reason they called it that was because you were testing positive for the rheumatoid factor and your ANAs were positive. And so with my little boy, he fell at preschool and a kid had stepped on his ankle and he was fine. And then once that happened, it immediately like made his ankle swell double the size. And so for 6 months, they kept saying, he has a sprained ankle, like just keep him off of it. And I'm like, how do you have a sprained ankle? I'm like, when he's with me all the time.
Yeah.
So got to talking to the school. They said that's what's happened. And so this went on for 6 months. And finally, we had to take him to a UK hospital. And they kept him for a week, did all these tests. They finally said he has arthritis. And I was just like, no way. I took him to 3 different doctors just to get it because I was like, "There's no way he has that." And so for me, it was really hard because, with kids,
So
there's
yeah,
nothing you can do, and you
no.
would take anything away just to help them, and so they said it was that. Well, he had to go through 3 different, medications, and it ended up spreading to both ankles and both knees. And it got so bad that he was in a wheelchair for a little bit because he couldn't walk
Oh,
certain
God.
distances without constantly falling. And so he's on a medicine right now that has kind of put it in remission, but it's you have to be so careful because, one wrong thing, a falling or anything can just set it back off.
Yeah.
And so with me, like I said, it was really hard and very emotional. And it took me a very long time to understand as to why this happened. When you think I've done everything right, I've been
Mhm.
careful, like, don't understand. But especially with him, it took him, he still has issues as far as like the things he has to do if he don't want to do it, as far as like blood work and stuff like that. But I know when I very first found out, there was so many books and videos and things as being an adult and having it as an adult. But with children, there was like maybe one or two books, but there wasn't really much on the topic of like, I have this, why do I have it? This is what I'm having to go through in order to make it be okay. And
Yeah.
so I wanted to write a book just to help other kids because I know with Caden, it took us a very long time to make him understand and kind of be okay with it. And, it still has struggles of certain things that he has to go through. But like I said, in life, I feel like that if you can help one person, that's what truly matters. And just to help other kids that maybe are going through the same thing, like, means the world to me and him.
Yeah.
And so I'm super excited. I love the artwork. Like, it's been a dream come true for me and him.
That's so nice. Congratulations. Can you
Thank
tell
you.
everybody what the name of the book is and where we can find it?
So the book is called I'm Caden and I have JIA. And as of right now, I am getting the illustrations done. I started a Kickstarter for it, and I'm hoping to get it put on Amazon. And I also did a special thing if people would donate certain amounts. I also am going to get it done and then send it to different children's hospitals so that a way they can maybe keep it in the lobby um like send it home with some kids that, maybe have
Yeah,
it and just now being
that's a great
diagnosed with it.
that's a great idea. That
Thank you.
and it's a really from my not it's really it's pretty rare, right? It's something
Yes,
that
it's
it's very rare in children. It's not that many children. You don't really see too many children that have that. So that was
well, and
amazing.
it goes untreated so
Yeah.
often because when you have a kid that's crying and crying, like, especially as a baby, you don't know what's really going on. And, I learned with him also having arthritis that it can also, praise not, but it can also, when you have something like that, it can set up other problems way down the road.
Yeah.
I mean, even like getting arthritis in your eyes, it can set you up for other disorders. Like, so it's a very scary thing, especially, having your first kid and not knowing, what to expect. And then this happens. So it was a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah, I could imagine, but I think that's amazing that you did that, and
That's
congratulations.
great.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Let's see. I think we have some Michelle Perkins. She finally got in, she said, so she's in now and listening. Yeah, I have 10 people texting me trying to find you. Well, we're glad you got in there, Michelle. So, Phil, do you have? I know you've got questions for this.
Phil always has questions. So, if you had to pick one of the most haunted locations on a bucket list, just to explore, which one would it be and why?
Um, that's a really hard one. I kinda, I guess, would say Paris because me and my little boy love to say "wee wee." But I got to watching Emily in Paris. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but it's such a good show and so many talented people, but I just love the scenery.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's beautiful.
But Paris is scary?
No. Did
No,
you
she
say
said it's
scary?
beautiful, like the scenery is beautiful.
No, but the question was a place that's okay. So a place that's haunted.
Right,
If you could
haunted
choose a
house.
place that's haunted, ghosts that we live with, Julie and I, which I'm looking around the room every once in a while in here, in case you see me twitching. I'm not alone.
Is the reason why.
It's
I'm
funny,
so
I know
sorry,
that,
you
but
cut
it's true.
out.
So give me a haunted location. Like mine would be, I would love to go in the Amityville Horror House, for
Okay.
example. I would definitely, that would be something. So if you had to pick anything to scare you for fun, what would it be?
So I would probably choose, this is terrible, but I do not remember the name, but I had to go, I think it was in Pittsburgh. It was a haunted hospital that had been shut down. And so
Huh.
if I had to go somewhere, I'd probably go back there, just because so they did a celebrity walk down, and it was me and a couple other people. And so at first they were like, we'll let the family go with whoever was there, like me. So my parents went and just to see what it was like because it was literally me, the other celebrities, and then like that was it. They shut the doors, like it was only us. And so we went walking through and there was a door that shut and you had to like pull it shut. It wouldn't, shut just on its own. So my parents and me, go looking through here and I'll never forget the door slammed shut. And
Oh,
so my
that's
mom's
the,
like,
that's the worst.
yes. So then my mom's like, there is something, some type of energy in here that just feels so strong. And so we go, they're like, you need to go sit in the lobby area. We're going to do our investigation. So we get up on this floor and we're in this room and there is, they use I forget what they're called, but the things like where people can talk to you. And so we're in this room and there's a red ball. And so I'm on one side, they're on the other side. And so they're like, whatever the kid's name was, they were like, roll the ball back and forth. And I'll never forget it. This voice was literally, it goes, get out now.
Oh boy.
And so that happened. And so we get back up there to that area where the strong feeling is. And come to find out, that feeling was because it was maternity ward and then the psych ward on one floor. And the doctor was really tall and he was like, this giant guy. And that's what that feeling was. And so he had actually worked on that floor. And it was just very freaky. And we went to leave, and this black cat runs out in front of us.
Oh,
And I'll just never forget it. But yeah, it was very, if I had to go somewhere, it would probably be back there just to see what else happened.
What else happened,
Um,
Jen?
yeah,
oh my
yeah.
goodness. In Pittsburgh, I mean, that's because there's so much
I heard of that.
trauma.
I forgot. That's an asylum. This
Yes.
part of, yeah, I
Mhm.
heard of something like that.
Oh,
Pittsburgh. We don't get out much,
I
so we have to
No.
talk to people like you who go out there and explore the world. Hey, here's a question now, off paranormal for a sec. Favorite actor?
I would say Angelina Jolie. I think
oh,
she's amazing. When I was younger, people said I looked like her. And I have this vein that like runs right here. And I noticed in photos she does. But the movie that I loved her in was Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
oh, that was a good movie.
Amazing. I love it when she is like on the thingy and she says a bad word, of course. And they're like bickering, and I'm like, that was my favorite part.
Oh my god. Do you ever like what do you have you ever worked with an actor that Like a really, who's the most famous actor that you've worked with?
I would say probably Paris Hilton, Nicole Richie. I think
Yeah,
that's probably, yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah, she's definitely
It's hard to top that.
calmed down. She's definitely calmed down a lot. She's
Oh yeah.
not the Paris Hilton that she was back then.
I know that she was such a sweetheart. Like,
Yeah,
and in life, the way people make you out to be is
course.
really not you. But she was so caring and nice. And I mean, even at the end, like I said, she gave us gift baskets of everything she's ever designed.
Yeah.
And there was 6 of us, I think. And she set and autographed every single thing out of that gift basket, no matter how long it took for all of us girls. And it meant the world to all of us. And I mean, still this day, I have all of it. And even the shirt says, "That's hot."
Oh
And
my
she's
God, I remember
autographed
that.
it.
So you have Michelle just said Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise.
Oh, yes, yes.
Have you ever been in contact with any of the parents whose children have JIA? Were you able to learn from their experiences? Rog Minley? Good question.
Yeah, that is. They have an arthritis foundation. And I actually signed up Caden for it, and they sent him this bear that was made of like, I don't want to say like jelly, but it had the beads in it where you could warm it up or put it in the refrigerator just to put on joints, which I think is very amazing because stuff like that is very helpful. And so I did stuff like that. And then I also got on different groups through Facebook to try to learn what their kids were going through and see some of the discussions about parents. But I love to read. So I, of course, went to the library trying to find everything to learn about it and stuff like that. Of course, Google helps a lot
Yeah.
with different things. But so, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
That's great that you're helping out and that you do some research on that. Because by doing that and going through the experience that you're going through, you help other families as well.
important. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
very
awesome.
important.
Oh yes, it has made me appreciate, I think, life more in a different way just because, you like I said, when you have kids that are sick, of course, you would do anything to take it from them so they feel better. But it's definitely gave me a different aspect on life because you just never know what tomorrow brings. And, you think like certain things happen in life and you have it bad. But, when a kid has something that is bad, it makes you really appreciate what's really going on.
Yeah, of course. That's amazing. We have Karen. Hi, Kayla. We have a lot
Hi,
of
how are you? So
Your
I'm
fan
super
base is all watching
excited.
you tonight.
Oh, yes.
yeah.
Along with all the people you said. But I'm super excited because I get to film this series called Minus Cove soon. And I wonder if Karen that's on here is from there also, but that will be soon. And then The Art of Killing, which is horror, it's coming out soon. So, and I don't know if you guys have seen it on my Facebook, but it's called The Dark Room. So I'm super excited about those films that come out.
Wow. That's
You have a lot. There's a whole list that we've seen of films that you've done. It's quite amazing.
how many
Oh,
films
thank you.
altogether have you worked on?
I lost count. I want to say,
That's a good thing.
I don't know. I want to say between everything of starting out and, being on different things, I want to say maybe 100. I'm not sure.
Wow.
But it's definitely
Wow.
been a lot.
That
Wow.
is
She
a
can't
lot.
count that high. How do I get my first one? How's about that? I mean, my biological clock is ticking. I'm 55 years old. How do I get on my first film? Anybody want to hire me for anything?
Oh,
Anything? You
I
can
knew
throw
that
me
was
off a
coming.
cliff. As long as I get part in a movie, do something. Put my name out there. Put in a raffle. Maybe I don't get. I can't even get one number close to a lottery number. I mean, it's pretty sad, Julie. And not for nothing, but you too.
I
The
know.
number 5 comes out, I get the number 50. I mean, I can't even get close to the lottery numbers.
It is
But what are they
hard.
rolling for me?
He made me pick them a couple days ago. He's like, "Oh, you got to do it because obviously he has
We
no
have to
luck."
play the lottery in some state that no one even hears of, in some deli that no one goes to. And I bet then we get the winning numbers.
Except
It
over here.
kills me when you see, like, I know especially here in Kentucky, like, it's like random gas stations that, like, and sometimes they hit at the same gas station, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And so one time, I forget, it was like a long time ago, it was like the biggest number I think that has ever been. And my Nana's like, you need to go buy tickets. So what do? I go and buy so many and then don't get none. And I was like, oh, but it definitely is hard. Listen,
Yeah.
we could make a bet here. Like, you buy some, I'll buy some. If we end up getting it, we'll split it half.
All right. So now that we're live on air with all these people listening, are we gonna stick with that?
Yes, let's do it.
He's gonna hold you to it. That's the scary part. That's the scary part.
Yeah.
Somebody here won last week 500,000, right, in Allentown, which is like probably like a half hour from us. We're in Easton, PA. We broadcast out of New Orleans, but we live here in Easton, PA. And yeah, we were kind of pissed about that.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder where these winners come from. Actually, if they're like made up or they just part of like something that we don't even know of, because half of them I don't even know they don't even exist. I don't know. It's just the government trying to get our tax dollars. But anyway, it's true, right? Yeah, but definitely, you've done over 100 films. I haven't been in one, so you're gonna have to put my name out there, Phil, Phil, Phil. Hello, I'm funny, right, Julie? Am I funny?
You're funny.
You're hilarious. I could watch this all day. I think a good role for you would probably be you could play my bodyguard. What about that?
There you go.
Kayla,
is there an application? I got to give you my resume. How do I do this?
I need a break. Okay. He will actually do a good job. I mean, he is pretty funny.
I am funny. I just never been funny before.
Really not so funny no more, but I mean, he is funny.
No, I love it. I think a good idea would be if you could do like videos, maybe like on TikTok of being funny. I'll try to duet it and we'll see how it goes. Because I think it would be fun to try that.
Yeah.
It's funny that
you say you need to start.
And you say that, right? But meanwhile, my wife says to me, if you put half the stupid things you do on TikTok, we'd be rich. And I'm like, yeah, but I can't.
Listen.
I mean, because I could do some pretty stupid things, and I'm not even trying to do them. It's just how I am, But it's funny and it's true at the same time. We have to come with pride.
Reality shows before, and we see the same thing you say. I mean, we're all from Staten Island. We have 4 boys. The house is crazy. There's always something dramatic going on. I mean, it's bad. It would make a good reality show. I mean, it really would.
Yeah.
I agree. I would watch it. I think it would. There was a TikTok, and I'm sure you guys have seen it, but I think the husband, and I'm not 100%, but I think he was a cop, and the husband and wife man are going around, and I don't know how you get a balloon to hang up in the air, but it's got like some type of a slime or something in it, and they go around shooting those Nerf guns and splattering it all on each other. And I'm like, man, I would love to do that. One crazy thing is this was a couple years ago, but they have like the spicy chocolate and like, the little fart sprays. And so I made brownies and because I wanted one. So I did, this sounds terrible to tell people, but so I did half the brownies normal. Then the other half I put spicy chocolate in. And so I had made these brownies, I set my ring light up. I was ready to film because I was like, I'm going to do this crazy prank. And so I told my stepdad, I was like, there's brownies in there, eat them. He's like, nah, maybe later. All day, didn't eat these brownies when I was ready. So I go, to take a hot bath. All of a sudden, I'm hearing screaming. And I was like, man, right when I have like no makeup on, not ready. So I come downstairs and he's like at the sink and he's like, oh my God, I have to kill you. And so I'm like, what? He was like, you put something in those brownies. And I was like, would I ever? And so I'll never forget it, but it was so fun.
Phil's gonna be
That
looking
is
for
funny.
brownies. Phil's gonna be looking for brownies in the refrigerator. You never
Oh
know.
my
Yeah,
gosh, it was so
I
funny.
love brownies, absolutely. Brownies are
And
like the best.
I'll never forget because I went to my nana's and so I bought fart spray. And I wanted to so bad film it, but I knew if they saw me, holding the phone, they'll be like, something's going on. So I start spraying it randomly. And so my poppy, he's like, Wanda? He's like, did you just, that word. And so she's like, no, William. He's like, why does it smell so bad in here? And so he's thinking it's the dog. Like they're searching everywhere. And so the whole time I'm like serious, can't laugh, like get it together. So finally, after 30 minutes of hearing about this, I keep spraying it. I go in the other room and my Nana's like, what is that smell? And so finally I just couldn't stop laughing. She was like, God, that is awful. And so I'm like, man, I wish I had filmed this because I mean, like I said, those certain videos are just so funny.
You know,
They are.
we always miss it. It's like the funny things. Somehow we just miss it. Like, you know what I'm saying, Phil? You don't record the stuff that will probably,
Oh yeah.
let people
Hey,
type in.
if you could play in an action movie,
Oh,
pick an action movie, and who would you want to play?
Mm, that's a hard one. I would probably, I don't know. I would probably say Angela Jolene type of role. Of kind of like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but maybe
yeah.
more drastic.
Did you see? Did you see the new movie, The Mother, on Netflix?
It sounds so familiar.
It's just
Oh,
him
oh
with
yes.
Jennifer
I
Lopez.
haven't seen it yet, but
Great
it
movie.
looks so good. She is
If you,
amazing.
yeah, and if you really want an action movie, I mean, that's a really, really, really good movie.
I mean,
Phil's
you
gonna like
watched it
that.
5 times.
I loved it. I watched it 5 times.
I'm,
I'm gonna
In
watch
the
it
last
again.
3 days, I'm getting tired of the same movie. We got to watch something different.
That's how I am. If I
I
like a
love you
movie,
guys.
if I
You
like a
know,
movie, I'm seriously watching it like 100 times. Like
yeah, I
I
know. The TV's getting tired of it. The TV's like, can we change the
Amen.
channel now? Hey, let's talk about childhood nightmares because I got to be honest with you. Yesterday, I'm on TikTok and I'm scrolling through because that's what I do at my age, late at night to fall asleep, have a couple laughs. But then I come across Tiny Tim
Oh, here we
tiptoe
go.
through the tulips. Now, I cannot tell you through the 60s when I was born, I'm old, I get the chills. Like something about that song, the way he sings, it just creeps me out. Have you ever heard that song?
I don't know that I have. Sing it for me. Give me a little sample.
They tiptoe through the tulips. He's so creepy. It's tiptoe through the tulips. I mean, I don't want to tiptoe. I want to tiptoe through $100 bills. But it's just the way he sings it. It goes. That was in that movie, Julie, that horror movie,
Yeah,
Insidious.
Insidious.
It's so
She's really
creepy.
young. She might not know. You have to Google it. I think that if you saw it, heard it, you would know it. Like they use this song in a lot of scary movies too.
Oh, I'm sure, yes.
Hey, no,
Insidious is
he
scary.
actually was a great singer, I guess. I don't know, but he still scares me at this age. I mean, some people have that tonality and that look of like that wickedness, and he was a really nice guy. But so speaking about that, has anything left a mark on you? Like a movie or a show or something you're like, I don't want to watch it again.
Mm, I don't know. I wouldn't say a movie or a song. So this sounds crazy, but when I was little, this has left a mark on me forever. I'll never forget it. It was so surreal. But when the house that I lived in when I was really young, that I was talking about earlier, my mom had a water bed, and underneath of it was like it had an opening of like a square that you could like crawl under the bed and like not fit through it, but like your head could fit through it. And so, my mom was like, "It was a dream, you're fine." But it was so surreal to me. It was like I was laying on the bed and I felt something come up like towards me. And, back then they had the phones that had the like windy, line. And I was eating a cracker and I felt like something was choking me to death. And still this day, like I can picture it and everything. And so still this day, I can always feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you pick up on with that, Phil?
I don't know.
That's quite.
That's
Yeah. Those waterbeds, I don't know. They always freak me out. I'm sorry. They always freak me. Something about them just, I don't like it.
Oh, she found the picture. This is what it looks like. I don't know if you can tell or not.
Oh, okay.
just a little bit closer to the camera if you could do that.
Yeah, put it a little bit closer.
Interesting. Yeah.
But yeah,
Wow.
it's like this white. I don't know, but yeah. But that was me as a baby.
Wow.
So yeah.
I want to talk. I've been hearing a lot that people are starting to go back to the Polaroid cameras, for evidence. And it's so funny because at the party that we were just at, she had the Polaroid camera, and I love this idea. I'm sure they've been doing this for years and years, but what do you think, Phil? The evidence that what's the difference?
Polaroid cameras, which one now? The one that the film comes out automatically?
Yes, the Polaroid. The film comes out automatically. Like remember
Oh, I
that?
used to like those. Instant film. Yeah, I used to like that.
Take it.
I mean, I'm
That
sorry, but I'm so ugly that they only kept the negatives in my family. No, but I think they're interested.
yeah.
Oh no, I love them. I actually bought a pink one, and my little boy has a blue one. But I love. I like to take cat photos because we have two cats, and so I love those because I'm like they're so. I just think they're so cute.
Yeah, and they listen. Everything old school is better, to be honest. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think
It
I
really
was.
is.
I love the '80s. Like I love '80s
Mhm.
music. I just
Uh-oh.
always
How
felt
old
like
are
I was
you?
born.
How
Here
old
we
are
go.
you?
A
How old are
baby is
you?
never supposed to tell her age,
I know,
but
but okay, so you're right. I tell my age, and I'm not proud of it. I'm 55 and I'm old. I got 1 foot in the grave and a half a year to live. So if you had to give us a guesstimate of how old you are between 30, 20, and like 10 year gap.
I will be honest. I will be 30 this year.
Wow, good for you. Happy birthday. That's awesome. No, you know why I'm asking you that question? It's interesting because Julia and I are 80s fans all the way. In fact, I ask Alexa every day, play the 80s. I mean, Alexa's getting tired of me asking that too, but we love the 80s. We're 80s people. If I go back into that decade, so many good memories. Why do you like the 80s?
I don't know. I love the music and just the rhythm. And I feel
Yeah.
like, I mean, there's tons of people that are great singers right now, but I'm just like, to me, there's something about it that just doesn't hit the same. And I just always felt, I've always been older than like mentally than my actual age. And I don't know if that's, because of acting or not, but I just always felt like an old soul. And
Yeah.
there's just something about it. Like I feel like when you're having a bad day, if you just play the '80s, it's like, damn.
It's true. You hit it right on
That's
the nail.
cool. I love the 80s. Julia loves it. We love those songs. In fact, that's what we do every morning. Alexa, play the 80s. It's hysterical. You said something. You said something. You said you feel like you could be an old soul. What makes you feel that? Because we do believe here on the show, Julie and I, and a lot of our guests, that, again, it's up to the believer, but there's reincarnation, deja vu, where we've been somewhere before. What makes you feel that?
I would honestly say that there's just times that I was homeschooled as a child, and then I got into acting, and, I don't know if all of that plays a part into it, but I just feel like people my age, and, maybe it's a family thing, but people my age, they go out, party, and, they live life. And I just have always been that type of person that I like to stay home and watch Lifetime or Netflix or read books, and growing up, I was never like people that were my age.
Yeah.
And even now, like, I could be doing partying or doing whatever, and I'm just like, I'd rather sit at home and read. So I just always felt like I was different than people my age.
Yeah.
And I relate to stuff that's like way older than I should, if that makes sense.
It makes a
That makes
lot
a
of
lot of
sense.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? And it's really scary out there right now. So I try to tell it's not like it was when we were younger.
Very.
Everyone stay in the house. Just
Oh
stay
my
in
gosh.
It's a
It's a
scary,
madhouse out
scary
there.
world. It's a scary world out there.
Yes.
It is.
Michelle
And
said, "Wait, can you tell us where you can where to find you on Roku channel?" Yeah, you could go on. It's actually on my page, so you could just go right on my page, Julia Syracuse, and you'll see it. It's
United
really
Public
easy.
Radio.
Yeah, it's United Public Radio, and it's. I'll show you. I'll send it to you. Take care of that. It's a little complicated to understand.
Okay, so before the show ends, tell our guest 5 things about you in order. The 5 best things about you.
Okay. So I'm funny, unique, pretty, I would say talented and very helpful.
Oh,
Awesome.
I would agree 100%.
Oh, thank you. That means a
You're
lot.
welcome. You're so cute.
Okay,
Well,
my turn to do it's
oh
my
no,
turn. Before we end the show, it is
Yes,
my
let's hear
turn.
it.
It's the 5 best things about Phil. Okay, Julie, end the show.
yeah, I'm gonna end the show. This is not the Phil show, okay? This has been a really fun show. I mean, the vibe has been really, I have to say, the vibe has been really, really, really fun.
Oh yeah, you're awesome.
You have a
Oh,
great
thank
energy
you.
about you. Keep doing everything that you're doing. We love you. You're great. Congratulations on your book. All the shows go by so fast. Thank you, everybody in chat, for joining us.
Hey, yeah, definitely everybody in chat. But most importantly, where can people find you really quick? And what do you have coming up?
Okay. So you can check me out at my website at www.kaylaperkins.com. Add me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And some stuff that I have coming up that will be coming out soon is The Art of Killing and The Dark Room and The Lazarus Game. And I will soon be filming on Minus Code.
Awesome. And if you can give one person a shout out, who do you want to give it to?
To you, of course, Phil.
He's such a ham.
Well, I think I'm going to get a shot in a TV show or a movie. I can feel it. I can feel the good energy. Somebody out there listening to me.
I need a vacation. Well,
I need a
again,
vacation.
Kayla, thanks for joining us today.
This is awesome. Hey, we definitely want to have you back on because you're awesome. You're fun. This has been an energetic show. Yeah, and we have to stay in touch and keep up to date with all that good stuff. And having said that, the clock just struck 9 o'clock. So, Julie, wrap it up.
Well, special thank you to Carnation for fully sponsoring the show from day one. We love them. Please join us next week on the United Public Radio Network on 105.3 and 107.7 FM from New Orleans. And also, we're live on Roku. And then you can find all of our shows there too. And that's it.
Everyone have a safe,
so
great
much.
night. Thank you to our special guest out there. Keep up the awesome work, and we'll definitely catch up with you soon.
Yes, have a great night. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Recorded live from North Hollywood. You're listening to the Park and Yank Podcast.